So as manifestors, we're all very interested in how do I shift my energy? How do I shift my state? How do I get into the right state of being in order to get the results that I want? And sometimes there's so much desperate emphasis on the desire to shift that we miss the most easy and effortless way to cause ourselves to shift. When we're constantly asking ourselves, how do I shift? How do I get into the right state? How do I change my energy? That question in and of itself is a very resistant to the current moment kind of question. So when we're in this question, we are often missing the obvious thing we need to do that would, again, actually cause us to shift into the right state. So we are going to talk about this today. As you can tell from the beginning of this video, this is a very paradoxical subject. And those of you who know me, who have stuck around my channel for a while, I'm constantly talking about paradox when it comes to manifestation. So the more we embrace the topsy-turvy logic of paradox, we're actually going to have an easier time manifesting. So let's get into this today. First of all, I do want to introduce myself to any of you who maybe don't know me yet. My name is Genevieve. I'm a spiritual teacher, a manifestation teacher, an energy worker, and on this channel I try to give you the best, most nuanced, and psychologically healthy guidance to help you manifest and also just feel better, because honestly that's why we want our manifestations to begin with. We want the manifestation because we want the way we think we'll feel, that freedom, that relief, that peace, that love that we think we'll feel once we get that thing. And as you might already know, in order to manifest, you have to practice having those types of knowings or those types of feelings now. So if you like my content here on this little corner of the internet, then I highly encourage you to subscribe and like this video. There's lots of ways you can work with me. I will say that at this moment that I'm posting this, if you are watching this between November 18th, 2025 up until November 28th, 2025, I am having my once a year sale, my little Black Friday sale. So it's kind of a big deal since it's a pretty rare thing that I do. But if you are watching at this time, you can get 30% off of all of my courses. So if you check out the description below, all of the courses are listed there. And all you need to do is type in the word 30 into the code box on the course page, and you'll get 30% off of all of my courses. So if you've wanted to do a course, if you've been waiting to do a course, now really is the time for you to get one. You'll have access to it forever. So even if you take your time and go through it slowly, or if you want to do it over and over again, you can do that as well. You have access to these courses forever. So I highly encourage you to look at those courses. Now is the time to get one if you've wanted to get one, or all of them, as I said. All right, now let's talk about how to genuinely shift your energy. First of all, if you're asking, how do I shift my energy? Obviously, you're in a state of noticing that you think that right now in this moment you are not in the right energy. You are not in the right state of being. You wouldn't be asking the question of how do I shift if you weren't already noticing or judging yourself, really is what I should say, judging yourself for not being in the right state. You're currently in a state of assumption that says, oh, the way that I'm feeling right now, or oh, the way that I'm thinking right now, it's not good. It's not a match. I'm not going to get what I want if I allow these feelings or if I have these thoughts. And so the first thing I want you to do to simply shift your energy very naturally is let go of that self-judgment. Let go of the self-judgment that says, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not in the right state. The minute you say to yourself, I'm not in the right state, or I'm not in the right energy, and it doesn't matter what you're thinking or what you're feeling. I don't care if you are like fully spiraling, if you're crying, if you're raging. I don't care if you're having the most extreme emotions or the most extreme thoughts in that moment. I never, ever, ever want you to judge yourself and say, oh, because of this human experience I'm having right now, that means I'm not going to manifest what I want, or that means I can't have what I want, or that means things aren't going to work out for me. Whatever form of that kind of judgment is taking, we're dropping that. You are meant to be taking on the unconditional self-concept. And really all that means is unconditionally accepting of yourself, unconditionally loving of yourself, really making it so I have a self-concept that there's absolutely nothing I could feel, nothing I could think that would ever cause me to not get what I want. There's not a single thing within me that I could feel or that I could think that could ever stop me from manifesting what I want. That's what I mean by having a very unconditional self-concept, where it's unconditionally loving, unconditionally secure, where you are very self-trusting of yourself. It's like, yeah, I trust myself so much that even if I'm having a crazy day of purging old emotions and spiraling in old thoughts, it is okay. I'm secure enough with myself that I can just let myself have that experience and not turn it into a greater meaning where it's like, oh my God, now my life is ruined. You are a human and you are going to have the full human experience just as all of us are on this earth. And with that full human experience, there is a spectrum of so much we can go through. There's so much amazing highs we can experience and so many amazing lows we can experience. And just because you're experiencing any of those highs and lows doesn't mean that you aren't going to manifest. So this is partly why a lot of you hear me say sometimes that I don't really like law of attraction type speak, where it's very much like high vibes only and you've got to feel good all the time. Like, that has not been my experience, that, oh, I've got to feel good all the time to manifest. In fact, I've had the opposite experience where I can feel whatever I want to feel, but as long as I'm feeling that in the container of my unconditional self-concept, where it's like, yep, I'm feeling crazy today, or I'm having crazy old thoughts today, but I'm containing it in this knowing of like, I am so loved. Everything is working out for me so well. It's totally safe for me to feel this. And in that container, as I said, I'm never making any of it mean, oh my gosh, Genevieve, because you're spiraling right now, you're not going to get what you want. People aren't going to like you anymore. You're going to fail. Like, I don't make those kinds of, I laugh because it's like so funny. And yet it's what we do to ourselves. I know a lot of you watching this right now have been in states in the past where you had internalized a lot of self-judgment and self-punishment from probably caretakers or just conditioning or society, where you felt like, oh my God, yeah, I can't be this or I can't feel this because now I'm not good. I'm not going to get what I want. I'm not a good person. I can't manifest. But I hope it's becoming clear to you that really the step one, and again, it is a paradox because the step one really is stop asking yourself, how do I shift into the state I need to be in? Because as I said, the question in and of itself is saying, oh, you're not in the right state. And all being in the right state is perspective. You can be in the right state right now, no matter how you feel, no matter what you're thinking right now. You can just decide in your operant power, perspective, meaning-making abilities, yeah, I'm in the right state right now. I'm in the right energy right now. It doesn't matter, again, how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking. I'm done putting this judgment on myself. It's like, oh, you haven't shifted yet, or oh, you haven't, achieved that level of energy, state of being shift that you need in order to manifest. That question or that judgment in and of itself is the problem, the only problem. But with that said, I want to go a little bit deeper onto this, because another thing that really paradoxically helps your manifestations is when you make your intention about you feeling better. Like, your intention is, I deserve to feel empowered no matter what. I deserve to feel good about myself no matter what. I deserve to make positive meaning out of everything in my life no matter what. When that is your intention, rather than, oh, my intention is to make Billy over there love me, or oh, my intention is to make my school give me perfect grades. When you shift the intention from an external focus, we're done doing that, done with external focus, and the intention becomes an internal focus, that paradoxically makes the manifestations a million times faster, better, and you genuinely feel better. Because remember what I said earlier, that the only reason you even want Billy to love you, or that you want perfect grades at school, is because you think, oh, when Billy loves me, or oh, when I get perfect grades at school, I'll feel really good. I'll feel so loved. I'll feel so secure. I'll feel so accepted. I'll feel like I've arrived. I'll feel like I'm successful. And that's why you want those things, because you want to experience the feelings of those, happy, gratifying feelings. So as I said before, it's not that you're going to force yourself now to feel like, oh, I'm going to fake feel like I'm so loved by Billy. You're not going to do that, because that tends to be coming from resistance and forcing, not meeting your genuine energy where it's at. So we're not doing that. But what we are doing is we are going to ask ourselves, okay, what am I genuinely feeling right now? First question. And what do I need? Like, what does this feeling in me need? Because if you, like I gave in my kind of first step here, if you are spiraling, if you are feeling negative, we already cleared up that you can still be negative and still decide you're in the right state. But again, as a human, I know you do want to feel better. So let's feel better, but in a genuine, healthy way that's self-focused and not external focused. So now we're asking, okay, what am I really feeling right now? And you're asking yourself this in a very self-compassionate, completely not judging. You're not fearfully trying to take your inventory of like, oh, what am I feeling right now? You're just asking yourself, what do I genuinely feel? And then the next question is, what do I really need right now because of the way I feel? And you're really taking this loving, compassionate turn towards yourself of allowing yourself, one, to just feel what it feels. And just the allowance of, oh, I feel really sad right now, or I feel really scared right now. But you're giving yourself so much permission to feel that, where it's like, yeah, it's okay that I'm totally freaking out right now about this test that I need to take, or I'm totally scared to talk to my boss, or I just feel really sad about XYZ right now. And you're just making it like, yeah, it's really okay to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. And you're allowing yourself to just take a breath, because resistance would tell you, no, you can't feel that way. Remember, you have to feel like you're already loved if you want Billy to love you. And that's why we're not doing it that way. Instead, we're like, okay, first, how do I feel right now? Giving it total permission, giving it so much love and acceptance, and making it so safe for you to feel that. That's really key here, is safety in just feeling whatever you're feeling. And then, as I said, the next part of this is asking yourself, well, what do I need right now? And finding ways to give yourself what you need in that moment. And maybe all you need is just a ton of, again, that love, that just self-love. But sometimes maybe you need to go for a walk and call a friend. Maybe you need to do kind of a 3D thing to help yourself to be fed. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need to do an actual somatic releasing meditation. Or maybe you just need to take a bath and cry. But really give yourself full permission to almost like sensualize your emotions and really give that emotion the care and the love that it wants. The paradox of this is that when you give your negative emotions, or the emotions that you are the most resistant to, when you actually love and allow those negative parts of you to be there, and again, you're loving them, the paradox is they naturally equalize themselves. They naturally process themselves. You naturally start to feel better in a genuine way. You start to feel loved and accepted and safe in a genuine way, because you're no longer like, oh my God, how do I shift this? Oh my God, I'm not supposed to feel scared. How do I shift this? You're not doing that anymore, because that kind of state, as you could feel the way that I was saying it, just makes your negative emotions worse, because you're in a state of not only feeling negative emotions to begin with, but you're also in a state of like totally invalidating yourself and totally trying to escape yourself and self-abandon in that moment, because you're like, oh my God, I can't handle this. I'm not supposed to feel this. This is not what I want to feel. But again, trust the paradox that when you actually lean into the emotions, whatever it is you're feeling, and you give yourself so much permission and safety to just feel what you feel, usually the more you practice this, pretty quickly those negative emotions do dissolve on your own, and you naturally start to feel a lot better. You naturally start to feel a lot of security, a lot of love, a lot of safety. Again, all the things that you thought you needed the external manifestation to give you in order to feel it, now you're tapping into it in a genuine way. You're not trying to force a shift. You are just meeting your genuine energy where it's at right in this moment, giving it so much unconditional love and acceptance, and genuinely giving yourself what you need and asking yourself, what do I need in this moment? And then giving yourself whatever that is to the best of your ability in that moment. So those are the two things that really genuinely shift your energy when you might be finding yourself in that state of, oh my God, how do I shift my energy? these are the two things that I would do to actually shift your energy in a very genuine way. Because remember, manifestations are a result of a genuine energy shift. They're not really a result of a forced, like, oh, I'm going to do it right. Oh, I'm trying to manifest. I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to do it right. That trying energy, that kind of neurotic pushing energy, isn't really what manifests. What manifests is your genuine shift into safety, relief, fulfillment. These are words that are, to me, synonymous with fulfillment, because all the wish fulfilled means is that you simply feel relaxed about that thing, or you feel relaxed about your life, you feel good about your life, you feel at peace about whatever it is you're manifesting. That is the wish fulfilled. You're no longer trying to fix things. You're no longer reacting to things the way you used to. You're very accepting of yourself, and even accepting of your 3D reality, as you trust that it's got to do whatever it's got to do before it catches up to your feelings, or really I should say knowings. I don't really like the word feelings, as you can tell from all that we talked about in this video, because again, your feelings in and of themselves aren't going to ruin your manifestations. It is more that higher knowing that you're holding, that unconditional self-concept that you're holding, that is what's directing your manifestations. And within the container of that unconditional self-concept, you are allowed to feel whatever you want. But as I said too, you will genuinely start to feel better the more that you actually meet yourself where you're actually at, with unconditional loving acceptance. That stuff processes, does its job. It just wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. It wants genuine attention. And then, as I said, you genuinely feel better and are in that truly more aligned state to manifest. All right, this is what I have for you guys today. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your questions. Let me know whatever just came up for you as you watch this. As always, I always intend for anyone who's watching these videos that just the video itself is giving you a shift, that you are just shifting just because you watch this. You don't even, you're passively, you don't even have to do anything. You can just passively enjoy this and your energy is shifted. So please enjoy that and really accept that, let that in. And I will see you guys in my next video. All right, bye.